when I first started coaching in college, we did all of the combine training. No one went off to
Right.
facilities, but the last 10 or 15 years here, our top players all went somewhere else for combine training. So, um, but I was always a big believer in, well, first, let me say this. All of our off-season preparation was all built around improving the qualities that you would need to do well at the combine, except for the 225-pound bench press test.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I was always, why don't you stick to doing what we're doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll work on the 5-10-5, the L drill, and the 225 rep test. And you just keep doing what you're doing. So the players that trained with us, that's how we did it. We trained just like they trained the entire time they were at LSU, and they trained in the same group that the rest of their positional, players trained in. They came in, warmed up, and trained, and then they would spend some extra time working on the 5-10-5.
Sure.
And the 225. So Gary Frank, I don't know if y'all know who Gary Frank is, but Gary Frank is a local. Gary Frank is well, his wife is from Louisiana, but Gary Frank, I think, may have been the first person to ever squat 1,000 pounds. He played, 7 or 8 years in the NFL, NC2A shot put champion at Mississippi State, and then went on to become, a world champion in powerlifting.
Yeah.
And Gary and I have been really good friends for a long time. And so Gary, used to help me a lot with the 225 bench press. And it was basically very similar to Louis' 8 sets of 3. But Gary would take 50% of your 1RM, and you would start on that, and you would take 50%, and you had 2 days that you trained. Day 1 was 8 sets of 3, beginning at 50% of your 1RM. And after that, he would do a lot of tricep work, and then he would do a lot of shoulder and back work, and that was it. So 8 sets of 3 at 50% of 1RM. He wanted you to be able to finish those 3 reps under 3 seconds. Okay. And then the second workout of the week was a maximum strength day. I don't think the guys, well, let's say it's a pseudo strength day. Guys didn't go over 80, 85%. They take a 10-minute break, and they would take 50% of their 1RM, and they had to be able to do 20 reps. If you could do 20 reps at 50% of your 1RM, then the next week on your 8 sets of 3, you went up 5 pounds.
Okay.
Oh, and on that second day,
that's interesting.
Yeah, you would do high volume triceps. Everything was high volume on that second day.
Sure.
And that's how Gary trained guys in bench. So we had some pretty good success in that. We didn't really work on the 40 that much. We would work on a lot of acceleration, 10s, 20s, and 30s, but only run a couple of 40s, getting ready for pro day. Because, I'm not of the belief that you can change a player's DNA in 2 months. You can do a lot. I think you can do more to hurt a player's chances of being drafted than you can help them. And then for us, the majority of our players didn't go to the combine. Their pro day was the biggest day. And we more or less trained them for their pro day
Yeah.
because we wanted them to have, by staying here with all the sleds and dummies and all their workout partners, they had a chance to work on their position specific skill work and be in condition. Because if you've ever seen an NFL pro day at a school like LSU, we would have anywhere from 75 to 150 NFL executives, live TV, ESPN, the NFL network, and they put those guys through the ringer. And if you're not in good shape, you get exposed. You could run a 4.340 and then go out there and drop 5 balls and not be able to finish the workout. And you were dropping from a 2nd round pick to a 4th round pick like that.
Right.
So, and then we had players that chose not to do that and go other places and work out with some really good strength coaches. One of my former assistants or interns now is Mo Wells, and Mo Wells has done as good a job of training people for the combine as anyone. He's one of those guys ranked right up there with Les Spellman when it comes to combine prep. So I'd tell him, you can stay here and work with me, or you can go work out with Mo. It's fine with me. You're not paying me. So